Hello, welcome to another AutoCAD Facecast. This is Charlie Crocker from San Francisco. Today we have with us someone from our PLM team. We've talked about PLM in the past, but there's been a lot of updates and changes and some new stuff that we'd like to share with you. So we've got a great opportunity here with Jamie Eckmeyer. Jamie, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Jamie. I'm one of the marketing managers on the PLM team here at Autodesk, and I represent the PLM 360, our relatively new offering in the PLM space.
So we keep using acronyms, and at Autodesk we love acronyms.
Absolutely.
Can you help us understand really what is PLM? Start with the acronym again,
Sure.
And then we can talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So PLM, it stands for Product Lifecycle Management. And essentially that's referring to managing all, it's a solution for managing all the processes, information, people involved around a complex design project, essentially.
Okay.
So it's not about the designing itself, like AutoCAD. It's about the processes that surround that. So throughout the entire life cycle, that's the L. So from your initial concept through the design development, engineering, construction or manufacturing, even marketing and potentially requirements gathering for the next innovation on that. So continuing the entire life cycle.
So the design itself, so you have your AutoCAD design,
Yeah.
in a sense, fits into one part of the overall process of creating something.
Correct. So you come up with a design, you have to turn it into something real, bring it to market if it's a product, or build it if it's a building. And there's a lot of processes and information that's circulating, a lot of stakeholders involved.
Right.
And this is a tool for kind of facilitating the collaboration, communication, and all the processes that surround it.
So isn't PLM born from really manufacturing people who create complex products? I know large companies who create aircraft and that kind of thing are really the ones who use it?
Absolutely, that is where it comes from. So it was born from very complex projects to develop in aerospace and defense or automotive industry.
So how does that relate then to the AutoCAD user base, our customers, our Facebook fans? In many cases work in both manufacturing, but in a lot of cases they're in more the building trade. So in architecture, AEC engineering, building roads, highways, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So first of all, there's been an evolution, especially with the introduction of Autodesk PLM 360, which is a cloud-based product. So from in contrast to the traditional PLM systems, which were for really very large enterprises with deep pockets, having a cloud solution means there's essentially zero deployment. You don't need a lot of hardware behind this. Essentially, if you have a laptop, you have a web browser, you have an iPad, you've got the hardware that you need to be on PLM 360.
So PLM is product lifecycle management. In the past, I think that meant product like a plane or a phone or that kind of thing.
Correct.
But now the P could stand for a bunch of different things.
Exactly. It's not just for manufacturers with deep pockets anymore. It's really, Autodesk has opened up the doors for people to take advantage of those benefits of PLM for whatever their design project might be. Because any design project, whether it's a computer, a laptop, a consumer product, or a building, or even a creative design agency, we're finding a lot of applications for PLM beyond the traditional scope of manufacturing.
So in the past, I'm going to get straight to this because I think this is a major point.
Yeah.
Really, up until now, if you want to have PLM, you said deep pockets, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get a PLM system into their organization, they had to buy a very big, expensive piece of software.
Correct.
They had to buy a bunch of servers and computers to support that.
Exactly.
They had to hire IT staff. They probably had to bring in consultants. So
Correct.
that's a fairly big investment. So it really meant only large companies could do that.
Exactly. The only large companies would be interested in heading down that path.
So this is now really set up for even the smallest of companies because the price is a lot lower than that big investment.
Absolutely, the price is a lot lower. It's we've got two different levels currently. There's if you're going to be the administrator for the system, essentially it's a subscription-based license here. It's the equivalent of $75 per month per user for somebody who's doing the administration. Then it's $25 a month for somebody who's just using the system and not actually kind of working with the back end.
$25 a month instead of servers, hardware, consultants, you know, staff, payroll, all that's amazing.
And not to mention the time involved. So rather than taking potentially months or years to get up and running with this, you literally can be up and running.
So by the time, in those big environments, by the time you actually finish installing it, you're not sure you need it anymore, or the configuration matters because your business has changed.
Exactly, the whole environment has changed.
So how does this help? Can you show us something that might help an AutoCAD user, whether it's in a building environment or something? Let's pick some sort of scenario.
Yeah, I think something that you'll encounter pretty regularly, regardless of what design field you're in, is changes. You're dealing with a change order. Someone puts a request through. We've decided, the client maybe, on a building project.
Okay, let's actually show it. Let's show it.
That he wants to change, say, the material on something.
So I'm the client. I happen to be working from home today, and I swung by Home Depot because I'm doing a home project. So I'm kind of out of pocket, but I do have my iPad or I do have my smartphone with me. So how are you going to use PLM to kind of make sure we shorten that time frame between making the change and getting the approval?
Great. So I'm going to, I've received this request from the client. I'm going to put it into PLM 360 here, and you will receive, regardless of where you are. I don't have to find you. I don't have to give you a call or find out. It'll come directly to you, regardless of where you are, and you'll know that we've got a change that we're requesting. So I'm going to put in a new change request, and you can see this is essentially working with a web browser. There's no special knowledge required to get in.
So you didn't have to, yeah. So I'm literally looking at my version of PLM here on the iPad, right? And I'm just using Safari browser. I didn't have to download any software.
So I will put request to change material.
Okay.
If I can type here. And let's say it says engineering here. This could be architectural design, whatever you want. So the type of change that's going in here. Few required fields. This was initiated by the customer. The client called me and said he wanted to change, I don't know, flooring or something.
Perfect.
All right.
Let's make it high priority.
High priority, okay. No problem. We just have a simple drop down there. Like I said, all very familiar to anybody who's been on the web before. You could put in here, select different people involved who might want to estimate costs there. We don't need to do that right now. And then we come down to here. I find I need this approval to be run through you, Charlie. So I'm just going to add you to the approval list. And the last thing I'm going to do here is say, when Charlie approves this, let's get that change order processed immediately, rather than having to wait for anything else to come through. So I'm going to check yes.
So for one little thing, this doesn't really make as much sense. You could probably just send an email, but when you have a group of 5 or 10 or 20 people that are engaged in the process, this things can really start to shine.
Correct, and it might not even be within your own. You might be a very small firm, but you're going to be working with suppliers, vendors, contractors,
people in the field,
lawyers, etc. There's a lot of people outside of, even if you're a small firm, that you're going to be dealing with. So I'm going to hit save here. So now I've got that request in there, and I could add an attachment to it if I wanted to.
You could put a picture of the material.
I could put a picture of a material. If we wanted to attach a DWG, you could do that, etc. So whatever type of file you want. So I'm going to go to my workflow actions now, and I'm going to say we need to get an approval here. So I'm going to submit it for review.
All right.
And I've told it earlier that it needs to get approved by you, Charlie. So I'm going to save that step. Yes, I want to confirm that. And now it's going to update directly, and you should be then, if you refresh, you should see that you have a new item in your outstanding tasks.
Oh, I do. So probably can't see this. I'll just show you real quick, but it did come up here. It says change the material. So this is in mine. I can look at this. I'm opening it up. Yep. Yeah, keep it on camera there. Oh, they want to change the flooring. Surprise, surprise. So how would I go about approving this?
So you're going to look in your workflow actions,
Okay.
right over here, and click on the drop down there. You'll see that you have
Final approval.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. And then I
save the
say,
step.
cool. Confirm. Did the same thing there.
Yeah. Now I'm going to refresh on this end. So now I should, if I go out to...
I see it. It already says it right there.
Right there. So we got final approval.
That's
so,
great.
So the additional thing that should have happened here, because I did check the box that we wanted the change order to be spawned out of this request, is that I should be able to look in my, excuse me, engineering change orders, and we should see something in here. Request to change material, priority high.
Great. Great.
And so anybody who is going to have to react to that, and actually, you know, the drafters or whoever is going to have to redesign something to accommodate this material change, will know that that happened without having to have gone through a lot of phone calls, emails, etc. It's everybody's working from the same kind of central source of information.
So I was talking with one of our customers, Marcello Martino, sunglass designer who uses our AutoCAD design suite software. If you've been at AU, you may have met him. I hear he's using PLM. Can you help me understand how he's using PLM?
Yes, exactly. So
because he's a small shop. He's not a 3,000 person company.
Exactly. And so I think the appeal, how he's using PLM and what the appeal behind it is that he has to deal with a lot of changes. He's working with customers and suppliers and creating very custom objects for them. A lot of changes happen, and just like we've seen here, you want to stay on top of those changes and not have a lot of delays in the cycle of going through a lot of changes.
So is he actually connecting with manufacturers also through the PLM?
Correct.
That's great.
Through his suppliers, manufacturers, clients, etc. So connecting not just his small team in-house, but with all the other stakeholders in the business.
So this is a really great way. If you're doing design, but you're working in a large group, you can now really start to work with, control, and collaborate at like the individual piece of your product or the whole product as a whole.
Exactly.
So how do I know if PLM is right for me? You know, because not everybody it's going to make sense for.
Yeah. So that's an excellent question, and to answer that question, we've actually come up with a tool, an online tool, to help people go out to our website and discover what would be the value of PLM for their particular situation. So I'm going to switch over here to, this is on Autodesk PLM 360.com/discover. We've introduced this tool.
So let's, why don't I start this? I'm going to discover whether or not me, as a generic customer, general customer, needs PLM. So I start.
Takes a moment to load.
There we go. Okay, so now the toolkit's in here. So I get to pick the industry I am in. So let's, it looks like the closest one to architecture and building would be building products and fabrication.
Correct.
So click on that. My company is a small company today.
Okay.
Let's pretend it's not Autodesk. And it's a small company, so I'm 1 to 25 employees.
All right.
Are we excited about the cloud? We are definitely very excited about the
Absolutely.
cloud.
Pick the smiley face.
Okay, so this shows me discovery. What best describes your job role?
If you're a design firm, if you're coming from a, say, architectural design perspective, you probably want to click engineering on here. This is, we still do have the terminology on this tool is kind of geared more to the manufacturing marketplace, but you can definitely find the same information that you're looking for at the end.
So what am I going to do here? What's this?
So here, this is the trickiest part of the tool, and it's really not that tricky at all. I'll do one for you here. What's the most important kind of this selection of 10 kind of processes that are going to be most important to what you're doing?
Well, currently right now, just based on the way things are going, it's costing me a lot to build what I want. So I think I would like to figure out how to reduce material costs.
Okay, so we would just drag that one down and put it at your highest priority level.
Okay, well let me try this.
Yeah,
this looks
absolutely.
good. So I could I think the other thing is I want to definitely retain customers. We're a small shop. I want them to see us as a bigger shop than we really are.
Got it.
And maybe the last one would be improve partnership and collaboration.
Okay.
So those are probably my top 3. So I'm just going to throw the rest of them down here.
And really it is your top priorities that are going to matter here.
Okay. And now I just hit next, right?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, now it asks for my info.
It's going to ask for some info. And after you fill out the info, you'll get an evaluation that gives you a lot of information specific to what are your initiatives, your priorities were, and how does PLM apply.
View my results. Okay. So I now have my own assessment.
Correct, and this is just kind of a preview. Here's what you flagged as being some top priorities. Here's essentially the assessment of information that you've provided. Great. If you scroll down even farther, you'll see download your full report.
Okay, so if I click on that, yeah, so.
And that will give you a PDF that you can save that will go into some detail about how PLM will pertain to your situation in design.
So this actually kind of helps me. If I finally understand PLM and I'm working with PLM, I can create this PDF and I could share it with my management, or I could share it with other team members so that they can start to understand why
do you
this
care?
might.
Why would it help?
Because sometimes if I find something new, I need to sell it internally, to get this. But
exactly,
because of that low price, I think it'd be really easy to just say, hey, let's try this out. So for somebody to try this out, do they have to pay?
No, actually, we have a free trial available to you. So another thing you can do on here is you could register for one of our workshops, either online or with, if you have a reseller, an in-person workshop with your Autodesk reseller. And you could learn more, get some hands-on training with that, and come out of that with a free 30-day trial of the product. Essentially, if you go through this tool, we'll make it very easy for you to get onto a 30-day trial.
So you can get a 30. Okay. So what I did was yesterday I went through this whole thing. I registered and I got an email that said gave me my own special PLM site. So I think I have my own site now. So I'm going to go to that site, which is this one. You can see that I'm logged in here. Let's see, here's my profile. I don't have a lot of information in here right now. But the thing that I noticed on coming in here, was that there's a bunch of stuff that can help me learn immediately. So what was that called? Up in the help again?
So up in the help, there is a PLM tour.
Oh, tour, right.
So essentially, the very first time you ever log in, you will be greeted with this screen that says, why not take the tour? It gets you familiar with some of the common workflows that you would be doing in PLM and let you know kind of where you might want to start.
Menus and tools, homepage, dashboard, reporting. That's great. Okay, so now that I have literally for the first time opened up my PLM account here, I think probably one of the first things I would want to do is add a couple users, because it seems that like without having a group working with me, it doesn't seem as effective.
Correct. The value in PLM comes from collaboration. It's not a one-man operation.
So show me how, tell me how, because this is easy.
I'll tell you how.
And I will add a new user.
Absolutely.
Let me add maybe you as a user.
Okay, so great. So you see up at the top the toolbar there, administration. That's if you have the administrative account.
And I'm assuming I do now.
You do.
Okay.
On the trial, you're an administrator. So you get to go in there and you see users, groups, and roles. And again, just clicking through, you see you are a user. You are the owner of the account.
Okay, and here I say new user?
You see new user, that's it.
Okay. So what's a group?
So a group is if you want to collect people by type, for example, engineering, or manufacturing, project management, etc. You can start to group your users, and you see next to that it says roles. There are specific roles that you would assign, so workflows that you would want these people to be accessing.
Okay, so add a new user. Do I have to add all this stuff?
The ones that have the little
star.
red star next to it.
So I'm going to add Jamie. I'll put in a temporary password.
Yeah, you could just do change me, for example. Is always a fun one.
Change me. License
This
type participant.
Participant. You don't want me
I don't want
messing
you
around
having
with
any control.
Absolutely.
Okay. Status is active.
And you would want to check that little require user to change password when I log in.
And that would be Jamie. I'll keep the capital A.
You can just put E in there.
Okay. And then I'm assuming I'm going to need your email.
You're going to need my email.
Jamie.
Dot. Eckmeyer, ECKMIER at Autodesk.com.
Okay. And then organization, Autodesk. But this could also be somebody outside of my firewall, right?
Absolutely.
That could be somebody at a government agency I'm sharing data with.
Correct.
It could be my manufacturer. Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all good enough, I think.
Correct. You might want to, you don't need to do it now, but you might want to set the right time zone, etc. for that person.
Okay.
And now what you want to do here, rather than just hit create user, why not hit create user and add to groups?
Okay.
So here you can see this one's set up with engineering and manufacturing.
Let's just say you're in engineering.
Engineering right now, yeah. And double click that. It'll puts it over there. It tells me what group I should be in. And then you could just hit save.
All right, save. And can I add a role for you?
Now, because you assigned me to engineering, it has automatically assigned the roles that you said anybody in engineering should have. But what you could do, to show one easy customization, if you were to go into new group there, you'll see engineering and manufacturing.
Did I hit it right? There we go.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me. Let's see, go to groups right here.
Okay.
And you've got engineering, you could just hit edit over here, and you could put in design or architecture or whatever you want to put. It's that simple to...
So it's a categorization.
Exactly. It's very, very simple to make these edits.
Well, great. This is awesome. So today we've had an opportunity to kind of understand how PLM works in general, how it can kind of support an Autodesk, AutoCAD specific workflow. I just saw that I was able to go through this nice discovery process.
Yeah.
It created a nice report that allows me to really either sell internally or understand for myself how PLM works. I started my own account, and I even added my own first user. So this is something that you could do for free, just to play around, just to even understand what PLM is. So I think exploring the PLM site, maybe inviting some of your colleagues in a trial type environment might be a really good way to just start to understand if PLM is right for you. And because you now have the trial and because you have the discovery tool, we are in a place where more people can just start to experiment and play with it.
Exactly. And essentially you didn't become a designer to manage business processes, right?
Right.
You became a designer because you love designing.
Right.
And PLM exists so that you can kind of alleviate some of the burden of managing those processes, that information, so that you can spend more time focused on your design. And that's really, in a nutshell, why you would be interested in learning more.
So Autodesk 360 PLM is one of our cloud offerings. I know we have, there's another cloud offering, simulation?
Correct. So simulation is, we have in the cloud as well, Simulation 360. And they currently do have an interesting offer going on where you can go do essentially as many simulations, run as many simulations as you want, essentially on Autodesk dime for the next couple of weeks, I believe.
So I just put that up on the screen. Simulation Liberation through the end of October allows you to do as much simulation as you want for free. And simulation takes a lot of cloud power, processing power. So I think it's a good time to at least give that a shot. So with that, go ahead.
Click back over to Autodesk PLM 360. I just wanted to point out where you would go. PLM360.com. You can close out of that. Autodesk PLM360.com/discover if you want to learn more about how PLM is going to apply to you.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for an AutoCAD Facecast. We have time, I think, for maybe one question, if there are any from our Facebook fans that are watching.
Yeah, so one question was regarding how does Autodesk PLM 360 compare to other PLM solutions?
Okay, it's a excellent question, and as we kind of discussed a little earlier, other PLM solutions kind of developed out of the aerospace and automotive industries for really large companies handling complex projects, and it was very capital intensive to invest upfront in all that hardware, in the time, in the programmers, consultants, etc., just to get up and running. Autodesk PLM 360 is a cloud product, so really rather than taking a year or so to get it set up, you can get it set up in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we literally in this Facecast, in this 20 minutes here, we had a lot of conversation, but we also got me up and running in PLM. So
correct.
No long-term planning, no huge investment, free for a month kind of thing. All right, well, this has been a great time again. Thank you again, Jamie, for coming.
Thanks very much, Charlie.
And we hope to see you on another Facecast real soon.